Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I just want to thank you guys for stopping by and checking these videos out from us. Also, you can follow me on social media if you like the content on Facebook and on Instagram. Also, giving me a quick like and subscribe. It helps these videos reach a broader audience and it can help a lot more people. It's free, it's easy to do, but it really helps me out and I really appreciate that. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the video and we'll see you on the next one. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I just want to thank you for coming by and checking these videos out. We just hit 1,000 subs, so we definitely appreciate the love and support from you guys and also the feedback. But one of the series I just did here was the top 5 big guy kayaks. So I was kind of thinking about maybe a different idea on that, maybe a countdown. Again, guys, these are just my opinions. Just off of being in the paddle sports industry, talking with customers, is tall guy kayaks. So I myself, I'm 6'5". I've got a 34-inch inseam. So when I'm talking about these kayaks, I want you to kind of use me as that measuring stick. If you're quite a bit taller than me or have quite a bit longer legs than I do, keep that in mind too. But so I'll go over 5 kayaks that I believe are the best paddling kayaks for under $1,200. And I'll go over a couple toward the end, maybe kayaks that I think you should avoid. Again, they're quality kayaks, but maybe not necessarily for the taller paddlers. So if you would stay tuned toward the end there, I'll go over a couple of those and then tell you why that I think they may not be the best thing for you. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. And again, we'll get into it here. So the first one on the list here is going to be the Tribe 9.5. So it's made by Perception. Perception makes a great kayak. You see it here in the orange. This is the sunset color. The kayak itself comes in at $6.99 as of this video. It weighs 48 pounds and has a 300-pound weight capacity. So the weight capacity is going to be important because, again, if you're taller, you're probably carrying a little bit of weight on you. The reason I suggest this one, so this is going to be at the bottom of that price limit we're talking about. It's going to be a good budget throw-and-go kayak. It's got the gel pad seat. It's got a small little hatch here, but it's got these molded pegs in here, so it doesn't have those slide rails. At the $6.99 price point, you are getting a rotomolded kayak, but you are going to make some sacrifices on, so you may have to add some gear track on there like you see here on the other Perception. Your accessory mounting options are limited to the solo mount, which, Perception does their own kind of ball mount accessories similar to the Ram ball mount. But you can add stuff to it. But at $6.99, you get a really solid kayak. It does have a decent weight capacity. But me on this kayak, I can use the last pegs. I've got that knee bend. So I'm not talking about my knees folded up into my chin. You want a little bit of a knee bend. You do not want to be locked out straight-legged. For the same reason you don't want to be standing up straight-legged for a long period of time. But it's an excellent kayak. It's got some of that great rocker to it. So I'll show you that here. Let me just pull this one out. Now, what I mean by when I say rocker, I mean that banana shape, that kind of curve. See how that curves up? See how the front end comes up off the floor? That's going to give you a really maneuverable kayak. Think when you think of whitewater kayaks, you see that stinger on the front and the back. It looks like, it comes up almost to an extreme level. It almost makes it to where you can spin that thing 360 degrees without going forward. You get a little bit of that on a recreational kayak. It's under that $700 price point. And also, even looking underneath here, you can see you've got that really nice channel. You got a nice keel line going down the length of the boat. And you've got kind of the pontoons on the sides there. You can see where you get that primary stability from. So that's the 5th one on the list, coming at number 5, the Tribe 9.5. Next one I've got is the Targa from Wilderness System. I just did a video on this. I'll release here pretty soon, so you can kind of get some room here. So the reason I like the Targa for taller paddlers is, again, I'll just go over the retail here. MSRP for the Targa 100 is $9.99 as of this video. 10 foot long. It only weighs 57 pounds. It's got a 325 pound weight capacity, but you can see you got that nice open deck space, nice and flat. You got the adjustable foot pegs. You can kind of see here. So it's got that frame seat that kind of sits back and up. You got plenty of room for your legs there. I sit really comfortably on this. And you've got a lot of things on there like your soft-sided cooler. You've got a nice little kind of, I call it a gear hat. It's like a plate with bungees hold it down so you can stuff your gear in there. Again, one thing that this boat really likes for some reason is you've got just a ton of molded in cup holders here. You got them on each side here, and you got two of them kind of built into the soft-sided cooler. So this is for somebody that maybe wants to be a little bit more stable, be a little bit more relaxed. It's still going to float really well. It does track really nicely, so you can see how that entry point is. But you've got, this kayak does what I call the tri-hull design. So you got that keel going down the middle. You've got these pontoons on the edge, and you've got these channels kind of going down the side there. So it starts out at a really nice point, cuts through the water really nice, so you have a really good entryway. And when you get toward the back, it kind of squares off a little bit. It's also really wide where the seat is, so you're going to be really stable. It's really beginner friendly. For a tall person, I'm going to suggest something like that over something like the Tarpon. Again, not that that's a bad kayak, but for a taller person, you're probably going to like that, the seating position being a little bit higher. Again, when you're sitting up higher, especially as a tall person, your hips to knee alignment is going to be a little better. So if your hips are down low and your knees are up high, all that pressure is going down on your hips, down on your tailbone, and you're going to get that numb butt, you're going to get that sore tailbone, and that's why a lot of you will feel that. A long-legged person is going to feel that a little easier because, again, they're typically going to be a little heavier, a lot of pressure on that tailbone. So that's why I like the higher seating position on the Targa over the lower seating position of the Tarpon. The Tarpon is a staple of the recreational kayak industry, but again, that new one there, I feel like it's a little bit better for your longer-legged paddlers. Next one on my list is going to be the Kayak 10-foot 5 and 12-foot version. You can kind of see why there. So this is the 12-foot version, and I did a video also on the 10-foot versus 12-foot, how they're the same as far as the cockpit size. So the 10-foot version is the exact same cockpit size. You just get a longer nose and a longer rear end for storage here. But you can see here, I sit really comfortably in this. I've still got a little bit of that slight knee bend, but I feel comfortable. It's also good if you want to throw your legs over the side and float. The Kayak versus the Targa that I just went over there, the Kayak is a little bit more performance-based. So pull it out here, very much like the Tribe 9.5, the Kayak is going to have that really good rocker to it. So you can see here that note, you kind of got that upward, kind of that banana shape there again. That's going to make you a really, really maneuverable kayak. The 12-foot version, you're going to enjoy the paddle a lot more. So the 12-foot version comes in at $9.99. The 10.5 comes in at $9.49. And again, my opinion, you get a little bit better value with the 12-footer depending on what kind of water you're on. The 10-footer is going to be really good for someone going down really narrow creeks and rivers. The 12-foot is going to be a little wider rivers, maybe open water. So the 12-footer here, you got a 65-pound kayak, 57, 58 on the 10.5, and then a 350-pound weight capacity on the 12-footer and 325 on the 10-footer. So there's very small differences. Same seat. You do have that frame seat. That frame seat can remove out. You can throw it up on the beach. You can use it as a camp chair. I will say one thing though, you do not have a high-low seat. It is a fixed position seat position. Again, a little different hull design. So really nice keel. That keel goes the length of it. You got the channels on both sides. That's going to help that track. And you've also got some really flat planes there. Again, that's going to give you good initial stability, but it's not going to hurt your maneuverability. Next one on the list, I've got the Jackson Bite. So the Jackson Bite, you see here, this is a 2023 in Rad. They also come in several other colors. Jackson changes their color schemes every year, so you see it here. Jackson always makes a solid, stable boat. Now, you're getting up a little bit. You're fully rigged out like you see here. It's 74 pounds. The MSRP this year is $9.99, but you've got a 400-pound weight capacity. This is going to be for your anglers. This is going to be for your just recreational floaters that may not need to worry too much about speed. You're worried more about comfort. So you do have the adjustable foot pegs, which are really comfortable. It's got kind of the padded grip here on the foot. The seat trims forward and backward on the gear track. So these are great for taller fishers, taller floaters. The underneath of it, again, a little flatter. So again, that's going to make you a little bit more sluggish in the water, but not really bad. I actually am very surprised at the performance of the bites personally, as far as a paddler. But compared to the Kiowa and the Targa and even the Tribe 9.5, you're going to be moving a little bit slower. But what you lose in speed with a kayak, typically you're going to be gaining in stability. So the hull is designed to account for that higher seat position. And again, that's that knee to hip alignment there. You're going to be a lot more comfortable for a lot longer period of time, especially being a taller person. And you're going to have plenty of foot room. You can kind of relax on the open deck or use the foot pegs if you're really needing to kind of bear down and paddle a little bit. But great option. Jackson makes a phenomenal kayak, in my opinion. They've always done a really good job of maximizing stability without sacrificing the speed and maneuverability too much. And last but not least, I've got, this one may surprise some people. So these are, and by no means I'm going by budget here. So I'm not saying the FX12 by Native here is the greatest kayak on the list, but it's definitely worth a look. The reason I love this kayak is it trims forward and backward. And you've also got adjustable foot braces. You got plenty of room in here. You got a 350 pound weight capacity. And the boat only weighs 57 pounds. So this is that one I went over with the most unique kayak. It's kind of a hybrid kayak canoe setup. Comes with the anchor trolley installed from the factory. It does have that Native seat. It's a very similar seat you see on the Kiowa and the Native Falcon there. But the FX12, you get a lightweight kayak, so it's going to be really maneuverable. The fact that you can trim the seat forward and backward it allows you to change the mechanics of your boat depending on what kind of waters you're on. So if you're wanting something a little bit more nimble, something you can kind of stuff gear in the front and the back without it being inside the hull, definitely worth a look here. Again, one of my favorite kayaks. I'm a big guy. I'm a tall guy. I have had zero issues in this, and this will handle the Buffalo River. It'll handle the White River, the Crooked Creek, a lot of the waterways here in Arkansas. And, you know, it's not, Native advertises it. It'll handle up to a class 3. Honestly, depending on your skill level, I say class 2 really comfortably. But it will definitely handle some moving water, some flat water. It's got a flatter bottom there. I'll kind of show you the underneath of it here. So right there, you can see you've got nice little keel here, but you got kind of that flat plane, and you've got where the keel continues there on the bottom, you can see. So what that does, it allows you to kind of skim the water a little bit more. Allows you to turn it really quickly. You don't have those pontoons on the edges that give you a lot of drag. And you get a lightweight kayak too. So really good throw and go. Take the seat out, put it on your shoulder, carry it around. You don't have to make any real big plans for portage, you know, carrying it to and from the water. So that's my top 5 list, guys. The MSRP on the FX12 is $11.99 this year, so it's kind of at the top end of that $1,200 price range. So I told you a little bit about kayaks that I avoid if I got a tall customer. And this really breaks my heart because this is 2 of my favorite kayaks. The Pescador Pro and the Pescador 10 made by Perception, not the best option for your taller paddlers. Now, I'm at a 34-inch inseam. Again, this has a high-low frame seat. To move the seat into the low position, it has to move forward and down. Doing that's going to be your paddling position. If you're tall, you're not going to really want to paddle it in the high position because you do sacrifice a little bit of that stability with it. But in the low position, that's a really, and those are maxed out. What a lot of people have to do, and I think one of my guys that had commented on one of these said they had to remove this. A lot of people do that, and then they have to use this as their footrest. And honestly, the Pescador Pro 10 at $919, that's not money you want to spend and have to make any adjustments to it to fit you. So there's a lot of kayaks on the market that will handle those longer legs a little better, a little bit more comfortably. But again, one of my favorite kayaks, but if someone's about my size or taller, I usually steer them away from that for the same reason. Same thing on the Pescador 10. You've got a little bit lower seat, but again, you're about the same distance from the seat to those pedals. So when you sit in these in a showroom like this, sit in them, make sure your butt is all the way back in the seat and make sure your feet are properly on the pedal. A little bit of a knee bend is not a big deal, but you don't want to be too far up. When I say a little bit of knee bend, I mean just like little bit of knee bend. You just don't want to be locked out, that's all. If you've got your feet too close to you, you're going to feel that over the long run, just like you will if they're kind of locked out. Obviously, I'm not even going to go into the Access and some of the 9-foot versions. Again, those are not going to be the best tall people paddlers because you can fit in it. But again, you don't have a lot of nose. You don't always see the shape of your kayak. I prefer the pointed to kind of the bulbous. And also, again, these are a little bit more what I would call a youth to adult bridge kayak. Petite paddlers, obviously, but again, a taller paddler, really not the best thing. And again, same thing, the second one that I'd never suggest to tall paddlers, and this is going to sound really weird to a lot of people, so bear with me, is the Perception Outlaw 11.5. The reason I don't do that is, again, you have a fixed position seat, it's really high, so again, you get that good hip to knee, but you only have these here. So if you're taller, even like me, if you're putting your feet on that, you're going to have a pretty good knee bend, and your knees are probably going to be spread out from each other too. So you see right here. Now, if you're okay putting your feet on this, you've got plenty of leg room, but the Outlaw is a little bit what I'd call sluggish in the water. There's a lot of resistance. The Outlaw is what I call a strict flat water boat. So again, got a nice keel line there. You got these channels, but see these edges here? It's almost kind of got that catamaran style hull to it. That will give you a lot of resistance if you're turning it, and also even straight line paddling, because it is a bulky, heavier boat. With a boat like that, you really need those footrests, because again, you're going to be using that to kind of propel you forward. You're going to use that for leverage when you're digging your paddle in. If you're using these and you're tall, you're not really going to be that comfortable. If you're putting your feet flat on this and paddling it, you're using only your shoulders and your arms, and guys, you will feel that. I don't care how strong you are. If you're going a long distance, keep in mind, if you're paddling a mile, that's an average of about 1,000 paddle strokes. You may be doing a little bit more than 1,000 on the Outlaw, just because it's not going to work. It almost works against you a little bit. But anyways, guys, that's my list. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep in mind, these are my opinions, so you shouldn't base a buying decision solely off of what I'm saying. But again, when I'm talking to customers and they're taller, those are the 5 kayaks I steer them to when they tell me they want to paddle and they don't want to spend over $1,000 to $1,200. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching these videos. I'll keep bringing them out to you. If there's anything you want to see, let me know down in the comments. If you agree or disagree with any of these, let us know in the comments too. We value that opinion because, again, you're talking to people that are probably looking, or in the market for kayaks, and certain things that they want to know about, you guys can also add to that because, again, that's valuable information. Anyways, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.